Welcome back, my dears. You are on your way to being your true self. How awesome is that? And I give you full on permission, just in case you needed it. I'm going to do a little quick review. We're obviously in week 5, and week 1, 2, 3, and 4. I told you we were going to go inward before we went outward, and that's the best way to do. And we're slowly going outward. First, you're learning how you're wired and why you are the way you are. And I hope you can own that. Go back through that call if you need to, week 2, explaining that DISC assessment, that personality assessment, and truly kind of comparing it with your results again and owning who you are. Own it. Own it with pride. If you're great with details, own it. That's a skill set the planet needs. If you're great with being loyal and supportive to others, that's a skill set that the planet needs. If you're a leader or a communicator like myself, a speaker, a coach, a teacher, an educator, that's a skill set the planet needs. We need leaders. We need people that'll take the rein and jump forward and help others. So all your skills are necessary, and God perfectly wired you exactly for a need here on this planet, and you get to find out what that is and own that with pride, okay? Then we kind of eked in a little bit to the outer appearance of ourselves, okay? So you can see I went inward, and I started to go into the skin deep session with last week's call on loving yourself, that self-love on steroids. That's that space where you get to own who you are and know that your body does not make you who you are. Your soul, your personality does. Your identity doesn't have to come from your appearance. Like I mentioned before, I have a nickname Blondie by a few people. That could change tomorrow. All it takes is a little hair dye, right? Or a wig, and I could be a different person. So know that that's just temporary and can change and shift. Your personality is what shines through. Your light within is what shines through and what people remember. They remember how you make them feel. That's truly where your gift lies, okay? And what value you bring to the table. So in week 5, we're going to go a little bit even further outward and start to take a look around us. Look at celebrities on TV. Look at people that are living a life that you admire every day. What are they doing that almost intimidates you a little bit? Makes you think, gosh, I really love how free they are. I wish I could be that way. I love how they're so bold. They put themselves out there on social media or on television or in print and published print. I can't believe they didn't do that. I wish I had that kind of courage and confidence to just say whatever and not care how people react. Well, that's why you're taking this program, because you're going to be that person. You're working yourself and transitioning and transforming yourself into that ideal person. Okay, so I want to just kind of look outward, and I'll share again some fun stories. When I was a teenager, there was this fun, I'm trying to remember, probably 17, I can't remember the exact year. There was a fun show on MTV. It's interesting, a guy I dated that's a lot younger than me remembered the actual name of it once, and I still can't remember what it is. But it had Jennifer McCarthy. And if anybody knows who that is, or you need to Google her and try to remember her face and so on. Jenny McCarthy is really what people know her as, okay? So Jenny McCarthy. And she's had shows since then. But her very first show that she started out with was on MTV. And it was one of those silly, goofy dating type shows. And anyone that knows Jenny McCarthy knows she's been on Playboy. She's drop dead gorgeous, very pretty, very photogenic. She's been in Playboy, models, of course. But just, being around that and knowing that, I'm kind of like curious of what the name of that dating show is, and I'm glancing through things, but I'm probably not going to find it. She's done other stuff, and she's even been on The View, and she had her own, show for a little while with her husband. And there's something about what she did, and as a teenager, I admired it. Okay, so if you're not familiar with that MTV show or you don't remember it, she was goofy. Okay, she was the host. She was funny. I think she co-hosted it with another man. I can't remember. All I remember is that she was herself on the show. She would snort. She would make funny faces at the camera. She would be goofy and silly. And here she is all made up in her pretty little clothes and her pretty little outfits with her perfect hair. But she didn't care about that. She wasn't this prim and proper, oh, I have to look a certain way. The camera's on. I have to be fake and poised and perfect and conservative. I have to put myself back in a box and be this other person for the camera. She was herself. And it was so freeing for me to see that. I admired it. I'm like, that's me. Oh my God, I'm looking in the mirror. I love her. Notice that you identify with people that look like you or are like you. Again, I mentioned on another call or the week prior about Kelly Ripa, being her goofy, silly self on her live TV show in New York. I admire that. I love it. It sparks a little ignition in me to go, guess what? If they can do it, you can do it. I love people like that give us permission to be themselves. If they can do it, I can do it. They're on a TV show. They're on a national network. And they have been for years. For example, Kelly, who's been on there forever. If they can do it, she's been on NBC for years and years and years, and she's full out her silly self, I can be too. It's almost like someone else comes along and grants you this power. Here's your magical wand. You get to be you too. Ta-da, it's all good. It's all good. It's so fun and exciting to go, wow, no one judged her. No one's laughing at her. She's not getting booed and kicked off the stage. She gets to be herself. And it took me a little while. Thank God that little seed was planted inside of me pretty early on. And at that time, I was in theater. I was in theater all through high school for 3 years. And when I first started out, I was very conservative. My drama teacher at the time was like, gosh, stop worrying about what you look like and just be the character. Let yourself out. Let it all come out. Stop worrying about your hair or if your outfit looks okay or if your shirt's tucked in just right. And I did have that self-conscious, very self-conscious feeling. Obviously, most teenagers do. They're very self-aware and insecure because they're just trying to grow into who they are, trying to discover who they are. I loved that I saw Jenny McCarthy just acting full out goofy and still cute as a button, still pretty, still classy, still fun. She just gets to be her. Now, I noticed when she was on The View, she couldn't bring out that side as much. A little bit, but not like her full out self. It's almost like she was probably she probably was in, on a probation period of we'll see if this works kind of feeling. And then, she wasn't on there very long. I did watch it when she was on there. So I like to watch the different women that come through that show and that channel and so on, and just kind of compare to other leaders and women leaders. And those people inspire me. That's why I pay attention to that. So she did feel more conservative. She did kind of go back into a box. And then, of course, she did her show with her husband. And that kind of makes a big difference where when you're doing a reality show, obviously you can be a little bit more like yourself, depending on the networks and so on. She had, let's see, who she married to? Oh, yeah, Donnie. So the Donnie and Jenny show, or the Jenny and Donnie show, or whatever it was. So super fun. Who can you think of that also inspires you, that maybe you watch on television, or you read their blogs, or you watch them on social media, or you're flipping through magazines and they just inspire you, or maybe it's a favorite actress of yours, and every time she's on a talk show, she's, obviously promoting whatever movie's coming out, but she's also super, super herself, just in her own body, in her own skin, loves who she is. I just recently saw Gwendolyn, who was in Game of Thrones and Star Wars. The woman is 6'3". God bless her. She's a powerhouse of a woman. And she owns her strength. Some women could walk in self-conscious of that height, especially growing up that way, where, again, they slouch or just feel uncomfortable because they're a good foot taller than most women. Now, she owns her power, and she's fun in her little British accent, and she's just, in talk shows talking about the movies and the shows, and she owns it because we're all unique in so many ways. We've got to own that part, because what's more important, above and beyond how unique we are also very much the same. Very much the same. We're all human beings. We have one, bloodline. We have one color blood. Blood runs red. It's just, we all bleed the same. We all need love. We all need water. We need food. We need healing. We have emotions. We all feel. We have so much in common. We have beliefs and rituals and families and relationships and laughter inside of our bellies that gets to come out. So regardless of how different we can be at times, we're also so much alike. So much alike in so many ways. And that's what brings us together. So who is it out? Who else is it that comes out and who's authentic? You know, I'm going to pick on Oprah because she's such a big name that everybody knows of. You know, Jenny McCarthy was obviously iconic to me as a teenager and gave me permission to be goofy Carrie because I love to just be silly. I mean, it's just who I am. I love to hang out with my girlfriends and act retarded and dumb. I mean, forgive me for that word now. Not necessarily retarded, that didn't come out right, but I like to go into character, you know, something goofy that I've done in theater. I like to go into a British dialect or start talking like a Southern belle or something fun and silly. And they give me names to go with these characters. It's just goofy. You know, the more you drink, the more those characters come out. But it's fun. And it's the real person. It's a real Carrie. The goofy Carrie is real Carrie. One of 5 kids that didn't grow up with the television, that had to make life interesting and fun. I had to really be creative because, you know, my parents were like, no, our television broke when we were little kids. And my dad's like, you know what? We spent too much time around this thing. I'm not getting it fixed. I'm sure part of it was I'm sure that was true to an extent. And I'm sure part of it was we don't have the money for it, but they never did get another one for the longest time. It was just something my parents, you know, wanted us to read more books, put on our own plays. We used to do that, just be super, super creative. I became a bookworm, which is the best thing that happened to me. So maybe we'll go with Oprah, for example. Oprah talks openly about her wounds. As big as a star and well-known person as she is, she still tells us that she has weight problems and weight challenges. She still tells us she's still a real human being. She's still down to earth in her ways of, this is who I am. I suffered abuse. She recently, you know, let it leak out. And I don't know if it was her or someone else that she, and it did have a child that didn't live for very long. And it's just the woman had lots of secrets and wounds, deep wounds, deep emotional wounds. But she still just kept going and going and going. And she was rejected multiple times in journalism before she had her own show. Lots of failures. We all trip over failure on our way to success. Okay? It's just a part of who we are. Failure is a part of success. It's one of those little obstacles that has to show up. They're just hurdles, guys. It's a part of it. It's how you learn the most about yourself. It's how you learn how to put on better armor and keep going forward. It's how you learn how strong you are. Diamonds are made from pressure, not from sitting on the couch watching other people dream and live out their lives, you know, watching other people do what you wish. So think back to these are the questions for you to put in your yummy little journal. Who have I sparked for you? Who do you admire? Who on the outside has really authentically been themselves to the point where they've given you permission to be you? Who do you know that's like, this is who I am. These are my scars. I am goofy, or I have a snort when I laugh. Whatever it is, it's all good. You know, big smiles. They get to be who they are with freedom and pride and own it. And own it. I want you to make a list of those people you admire, because God bless them. They've gone before you and already have set the way, they set the path. You know, as women, we've really come out of our shells since the 60s and beyond, where, you know, you just almost treated like children sometimes, where just be seen, not heard, sit in a corner, just do what you're supposed to, just get, you know, make babies and make dinner. That's all you're meant to do. Clean the house, stay at home, be a good little wife, shut up and sit down, just nod your head and agree with your husband. We've come a long way since that mindset. Even my own mother, I watch her. She and my father have been married for 56 years. She met him when she was 13 and he was 17. They've been together that long. And she was that, oh, I've got to keep my mouth shut. And she started to stick up for herself throughout the marriage. I watched that as, you know, as a child, and even more so. The more she does, the more dad backs down. It's just interesting. They're a dynamic couple, that's for sure. I don't know if dynamic is the right word, but interesting would be more like it. But the thing is you get to own that. Who Who has set a statement out there publicly that has something kind of triggers you to go, if they can do it, I can do it. And trust me, even when we're putting ourselves out there, we still are going through those little, oh my God, should I do this? Should I really post that? Oh my goodness, my heart is racing. Should I really put that out there? Is that blog really worthy of being published? I can't believe I just published that. I was so honest in that. I felt that way. With my permission to be me book, there's some truths in there, lots of truth, lots of unveiling. And the next 6 books are going to be way more raw as I unveil lots of parts of me that were broken that got fixed. I want to show you that I was a hot mess once upon a time, 10 years ago, massive hot mess. Self-development works, creates healing, creates confidence, creates you to be in control of your own emotions. You don't need to be a victim. It feels like they're just spiraling out of control every day. That's what our healing sessions, when you work with me privately, do. They could put you in the driver's seat again. You're in charge of your emotions. Instead of them running your life, you're running them. And if you haven't done the VIP sessions or worked with me with my Breakdown to Breakthrough program where we heal that part of yourself, please message me. You can do this, okay? We can take a deep dive if you want to go deeper in that. So, and again, another quick reminder, make sure you're in your Permission to Me tribe, the Facebook tribe. If you're not already in there, find us on Facebook. Permission to Be Me tribe is what it's called. So you can get into that group. It doesn't cost anything to be in that group, of course. It's just a women's support spot. So write these names down of those people that you admire. Now, we're going to go another step further. Okay, this is your homework. Not only who you can admire that has set the pace and set the path for you, but how can you now practice using your own voice? Do you blog now? Maybe you already have a business and I'm just helping you take it to the next level. Maybe I'm helping you be more authentic in your business, taking and owning that confidence that you have deep within you and really displaying that. How am I getting you to own it, to own that, who you are, and take it to the next level? Maybe you're not being authentic in your business because you're doing things the way you think you're supposed to do them, which feels yucky. You've created the rules. Right? One of my chapters in the book is who made these rules anyway? Really. In all honesty, that's chapter 2. Who made these rules anyway? Think about it. Where do they come from? Who says you can't do that? No one. If you do the track record and you kind of follow that rule back, you realize it's just a belief that you put in your head that wasn't true in the first place. Or maybe you're just starting to get out there. Maybe you're one of those shy people that doesn't want to really create any ripples. You just want to get through life and be calm. But at the same time, you're squishing and squashing that voice inside of you that has every right to be heard. Nothing feels better. And I've worked with women for so many, going 13 years now. I've worked in the coaching industry since 2005. And when you give a woman permission to speak and be heard, she comes to life. And she has her own voice and message that she's passionate about, and she gets to put it out there, whether it's online or on television or in press release, whatever it is, social media, a website. She comes to life. She's so excited. She feels like she has this place in this planet. And that's why I love creating those online businesses for women. It's so much fun to see them come to life and own their own passion. So much fun, so much more opportunity than we had 10 years ago. Brilliance. I love it. There's so much abundance, so much. So where can you be a leader? Where can your voice be heard? Should you do more public speaking? Should you start a blog? Should you starting a blog, if you're not really clear on doing your own online business yet, a blog is a good place to start. Reach out to me. I've got trainings on that. If you're looking to maybe stand up in your community, volunteer at your children's school more, maybe volunteer at church, take a stance at church. It's a great place to get plugged into your local area. Politics, whatever you feel led to make a difference in, how can you stand up and talk more, voice your opinion more, go to meetings, connect? Where can you be seen? And if you really want to go big and you want to be known, you have to first be seen, correct? That's something I preach about all the time in my online business coaching company. In order to be known, you have to be seen. You've got to make a ripple effect. And that takes confidence, which is why you're doing this course, is to create more self-esteem around who you are, more confidence. Okay? And talk to me about this. If you've got the VIP package and you have a private coaching session with me, we can discuss this deeper. I can help and fine tune that space where you can play, help you find that passion and purpose. I call it your zone of genius, AKA your G spot, ladies, okay? Because it's so exciting once you own where you're at and you love what you do. Everything else is just frosting after that. Everything else is just frosting, okay? So that's who you are. Get to the core of who you are, who you came here to become. You know, I say that you came to this planet to become somebody. What does that get to look like? Okay. So kind of look at how you can practice. That's your homework for this week. How can I exercise my own voice and be heard and be seen? You can even start small with just posting on Facebook. Something simple and easy, or Twitter or Instagram, whatever platform you want to play on. Maybe you want to do some YouTube videos or do some Facebook Lives or just some video blogs. Just get your voice heard and get yourself put out there. It's so freeing. And you know, you only need to give yourself permission to do this. That's the only thing stopping you is you. We are the biggest sabotagers of our own healing and empowerment. If we just get out of our own way, we can create so much yumminess in our life, and on the planet, and in our businesses. If you think about it, and I always like to say, life has so many obstacles. Don't be one of them. Just get out of the way and let the flow happen. Even I notice when I have resistance, I'm like, okay, let's stop thinking about this. Let it happen, Carrie. Just let it happen. Place your order to the universe and walk away from it and let it happen. You know, and just let the flow happen. That's where confidence comes from, speaking up and realizing, oh, nobody died. Interesting. I'm going to try that again. It's the baby steps we take that creates that big, powerful, I've got a message inside of me that needs to be seen and heard. Public speakers aren't made overnight. There's something inside of us that needs to speak. That's why I have a speaking agency and I work with public speakers all the time. They've grown into that platform where I've got a message and somebody needs to hear this. It's burning inside of me. That's why I write books and put my messages out there. I have to do it. When I talk to people in regards to their own business, I tell them, this isn't about money. It's just, I gotta do it. I can't not do this. It's a part of who I am. It's in my DNA. I have to put myself consistently out there to change lives every day. I can't not do it. I can't. So that's could be your passion, could be something bubbling up inside of you, but it takes the courage to get out there. Like I mentioned in the first couple calls, courage is what takes us from an idea to an actual action plan and creating action steps and taking the action steps. Courage and confidence is what women need to play full out and say it's going to be okay. And I'm going to go a little deeper here. For those that believe in a past life, a lot of the times we're afraid to step forward because that fear of, I'm going to get hung. I'm going to get stabbed to death. I'm going to be drowned or burned to the stake if I speak my truth. And that's a whole nother course. But you can even go, sometimes that fear inside of you is past life stuff. And why don't I have a permission to speak, Carrie? Why am I so afraid to have a voice and say it's okay? Is it because I was hung last time I spoke up? Was I burned to the stake? Was I one of those women they chased out of the village and was rejected? Because rejection back then for our ancestors meant you got kicked out of the village and you're on your own. And when you're kicked out of a village, you truly are starving, because the village is where everyone takes care of one another. Everyone's selling fruits and vegetables and their produce, and they're sharing amongst each other, and they're keeping each other alive and helping each other raise their kids. The village is where the life happens, where you can sustain your life. And if you're rejected like you were back then, they would actually shun you to the wilderness, where you have no means of support, no means of thriving, no means of sustaining your life, your human life. You're out to the wild. You're living in the woods. You're trying to make things happen on your own. And that meant death. So rejection sometimes can feel so powerfully painful because of that ancestral feeling around rejection. No one's going to shun you today unless you have that in your religion or whatever the case may be. No one's going to put you on the outside and kick you out of the house. or village. We don't quite have those means to that extreme. I mean, Phil can probably show up in some places. I don't want to dismiss that or disrespect that. Keep in mind that that's why rejection sometimes feels so yucky, and why we do what we can to avoid it is because our ancestors, it was life or death to them, literally life or death. Okay, so just know that in your being and give yourself permission to take the duct tape off your mouth and literally speak your truth. And don't just talk to fill silence. Speak with what your heart wants you to say. Start writing. Nothing feels better than writing. If that's not your gift, start speaking. Where can you be a leader? Where can you take the stance? Where can you jump in and say, I've got this. I'm really good at this. I can do it. I'm good at organizing. Let me handle this. Where can you jump in with your gifts and go, I'm going to make this a little easier for everyone else because I'm really good at this and it's almost fun for me. You know, that's your place of enjoyment, your zone of genius. Okay, so this was a good packed week. Oi, lots of stuff, lots of stuff. Again, just recapping the beginning of the call, find that celebrity or a person that's out there, that public figure that you feel inspired by because they are full out living their truth without any cares in the world. They don't care, or they appear that they don't care, okay? We all do a little bit deep down inside. But at the end of the day, they don't care. They don't care. You know, they know that the message is more important than the resistance. That's where the difference is. That's where inspiration shows up, is when the message is stronger than the resistance. You know, we all go through it, but resistance can either kick your butt and squash it all together. But if that message is inside of you strong enough, nothing can hold it back. Nothing. Okay? And then how can you step up? Where and how? And again, if you have the VIP package with your private sessions with me, let's talk about getting you out there in a bigger way so I can see where you're at now and how we can take it to the next level to really get you seen as that leader, that female empowerment leader, creating more and more goddesses out there. So much fun. I need all the help I can get, guys. I'm only Carrie. I can't rip everybody apart, you know, and recreate them and give them permission to be themselves. I need you to spread the word too, you know. That's what I hope for with my beautiful daughter as she, you know, is growing into a young lady, that she gets to feel free and empowered to speak her truth also. Some days she's more than empowered. It's like, whoa, okay, you need to chill out. You're still the kid. You're still my daughter. You're still a minor. But she's very, very empowered thanks to her mommy. So I'll see you on week 6. Do your homework, and I'll see you back again on week 6.